The Bobo doll experiment was conducted by psychologist Albert Bandura in 1961 to study the effects of observational learning and modeling on aggressive behavior in children. 36 boys and 36 girls, aged between 3 to 6 years old, were recruited from the Stanford University Nursery School. The independent variable was the type of model observed by the children: aggressive, non-aggressive, and a control group. Each group had 12 boys and 12 girls. 24 children were exposed to an adult model who demonstrated aggressive behavior towards a Bobo doll, such as hitting it with a mallet, throwing it in the air, and verbally abusing it. They would also use verbally aggressive phrases, such as kick him and pow. The aggressive model also added 2 non-aggressive phrases, including, he sure is a tough fella, and he keeps coming back for more. Another 24 children were exposed to a non-aggressive model, who played in a quiet and subdued manner for 10 minutes, playing with a Tinker toy set and ignoring the Bobo doll. Each of these experimental groups was divided so that half of the participants would be exposed to a same-sex adult model, and the other half would be exposed to an opposite-sex adult model. The final 24 children were used as a control group and not exposed to any model at all. All the children, including the control group, were subjected to mild aggression arousal. Each child was separately taken to a room with relatively attractive toys. As soon as the child started to play with the toys, the experimenter told the child that these were the experimenter's very best toys, and she had decided to reserve them for the other children. The purpose of this was to build up frustration levels among the young participants. Finally, each child was taken to the last experimental room. This room contained a number of aggressive toys, including a mallet, a tether ball with a face painted on it, dart guns, and of course, a Bobo doll. The room also included several non-aggressive toys, including crayons, paper, dolls, plastic animals, and trucks. Each child was then allowed to play in this room for a period of 20 minutes. During this time, 2 researchers observed the child's behavior from behind a one-way mirror, and independently judged each child's levels of aggression, according to a series of 5-point rating scales. Observations were made at 5-second intervals therefore, giving 240 response units for each child. Their ratings showed a very high reliability correlation, which suggested that the observers had a good agreement about the behavior of the children. Bandura observed that the children who witnessed the aggressive behavior were more likely to imitate the same behavior towards the Bobo doll, compared to children who were not exposed to the model's behavior. Boys were more likely to imitate same-sex models than girls. The evidence for girls imitating same-sex models is not strong. Boys imitated more physically aggressive acts than girls. There was little difference in verbal aggression between boys and girls. The experiment demonstrated that children learn aggressive behavior through observation and imitation of others. The Bobo doll experiment was significant because it challenged the traditional behaviorist view that behavior is only shaped by reward and punishment. Bandura's findings suggested that social learning theory, which emphasizes the importance of modeling and observation in shaping behavior, played a significant role in the development of aggressive behavior in children. Critics point out that acting violently toward a doll is a lot different than displaying aggression or violence against another human being in a real-world setting. In other words, a child acting violently toward a doll doesn't necessarily indicate they'll act violently toward a person. A further criticism of the study is that the demonstrations are measured almost immediately. The study only examined the short-term effects of the observed aggression on children's behavior, and did not track long-term outcomes or potential consequences of exposure to aggressive behavior. Critics have argued that the Bobo doll experiment oversimplifies the complex process of learning, and may not fully capture the various factors that influence behavior and the development of social skills. For example, the study focuses solely on the effects of observational learning on aggression, without taking into account other factors that could contribute to aggressive behavior, such as individual differences, environmental factors, or the role of emotions. Finally, the study primarily focused on white middle-class children, and did not take into account potential cultural differences in behavior.